Chops Garage is proud to be sponsored by Car Vertical, the largest online database of vehicle information. Do you know the true history of your vehicle? Run a check now. Link in the description down below.
So guys, with the Toyota down at Moors, the infamous Toyota from the last video, had a chat with the mechanics about what happened with this. It's quite an interesting. So apparently, obviously did all the MOT work, got it all bang on. You can see we've got brand new discs on the back there by the looks of it, brand new pads. So all of this was done as part of the MOT work, and they said it's actually a really good car, really nice clean one, and they say it's definitely worth doing the work. But what happened was they did all the work, they did the new glow plugs to try and improve the starting, and took it out for a test drive. And when they took it for a test drive, it started and ran perfectly straight away. So they hopped in it, took it for a little run. On the way out, the oil light popped up very briefly and went out again. So pulled over, checked the oil level again, started the car because the oil level was good, started the car again, and it started again perfectly. So he thought, okay, I'll drive it a bit further. And it flashed up one more time, so he thought, right, okay, this isn't good. So he thought, I'll turn it around, bring it back again, and check it out fully. He said he was fully expecting an EGR code to come up. He thought it might be that. So he brought it back here, pulled it outside there. Just as he pulled it outside the unit, the car stalled. So he went to start it again, and it would not start at all. Totally locked up. What's the odds of that he managed to get back here in front of the unit? So he was well lucky there. In the end, didn't have to be towed. He said it was running absolutely fine, and that's what I said to you guys when I bought the car. It ran fine, you know, running and driving fine, apart from occasionally being slow to start. It was running absolutely fine. So the thoughts are, what's happened with this is that the injectors were done, but too late. By the time the injectors were done, they'd already been washing diesel. So when the injectors go, they allow diesel to go past them and wash the cylinders out and the bores out in the engine. Obviously I'm relaying the information from the mechanics. I've got a basic knowledge but not a full one. But yeah, it was basically washing diesel down the bores, washing the oil away. And he said what happens when that happens as well, it takes all the hard carbon deposits with it down into the sump. Now he said when he looked at the sump, because he's already popped off, you don't have to exhaust out the way on this. A lot of cars you have to run, the exhaust system runs over the top of the sump and various other things, which is why you can't just do it as par the course. You know, it would be too expensive to do it all the time. He said when he went to pull the sump, there was already mastic round the sump, gasket round there as well. So it looked like, he said, someone had already had a look already at some point. But yes, yeah, so what's happened is the injectors are gone. They've washed diesel down the bores. They have taken all the hard deposits down into the sump and blocked up the gauze. And he said the reason it was probably struggling to start sometimes is it was getting to that point where the pistons were really sort of struggling to get up and down the cylinder because there was no oil there anymore, and there's all these hard deposits sort of blocking everything up. One of those things, guys, you really can't do much about it. They said it's definitely worth putting an engine. They said it's a really nice car otherwise, and for the price I can get an engine for, it looks like I can get an engine for about £400 or £500, and they'll do me a deal on fitting it, and we should still be within the car's market value. But yeah, it's just like I say, one of those things. So I had a chat with them as well, because obviously I put the last video out and said that it was a myth about Toyotas, and said to them as mechanics, you know, a lot of people wanted to argue the toss with me in the comments that have had a Toyota themselves and it's lasted forever, which is fair enough. You know, that can happen. I think it's more luck than anything. People said that it was because this one wasn't serviced. Well, this one had a nigh on full service history, but injectors can still fail in a Toyota like they can anything else. That's the thing, it's got nothing to do with the full service history. I said to them, are Toyotas as reliable as people say? They said, well, actually, the cars themselves, he said, are pretty solid. He said their engines aren't that great. He said their engines don't actually do that big of miles. Now, as per the comments in the last video, I think it's agreed that all the sort of 80s, 90s Toyotas were pretty bulletproof, but they were petrols, mostly small CC petrols, and small CC petrols in pretty much every brand will last for a pretty long time, apart from the 3-cylinder bloody VW units. But most small petrols will last forever and a day because they're incredibly simple little engines. But I think it's yes, I think the reputation comes from the sort of 90s and 80s Toyotas, but all the stuff from like the 2000s onwards, well, maybe that's a bit still a bit, maybe 2005 onwards, they're just the same as anything else. Sorry, they're just, and the mechanics agree with me. They said, like I said, they said that although the components within the cars themselves are pretty good, the engines aren't that great, especially the diesels. So anyway, it's just a sort of a heads up to anybody that has this model as well, to get that, because the sump can be dropped without the exhaust system having to come off, and apparently it's very easy to do. Something to get checked if you're running one of these, something to get checked, get that new sump strainer put in. You can put a new sump strainer in that will mean that you're getting all the fresh oil up through the engine, because what the sump strainer is doing, just I didn't explain that, did I, is it's taking all the oil from the bottom of the engine and it's feeding it back up to the top of the engine, and what the strainer's doing is picking up any swarf and nasty gunk and stopping it from being pumped back up to the top of the engine to lubricate it. So when that gets completely blocked, it can starve. It basically means you don't get the oil flow through the engine, and it starves the engine of oil. And obviously with no oil lubricating the pistons, the engine can seize up. And it's a very common thing actually, I think, on the is it in the Saabs, in the 2-litre diesel Saabs, which I think is the same engine that's used in some Alphas and other models as well. I think it's that one that suffers from oil starvation from sump strainers being blocked. So if you have got the Cobra sump on any of the cars that can be dropped off without any major work, it's worth dropping it and checking it and get it cleaned out to avoid stuff like this. While we're down here, have a quick roundup of other stuff we've got on the go. We remember this ASX we sold? Still down here from the ABS problem. So I was told that the only thing that would solve, so if you remember, we sold this car and the ABS sensor went on the rear wheel, and warranty wise wouldn't repair it because the ABS sensor is a metal ring that had just rusted out on a 2012 car. They said no, that's fair wear and tear. Went to Mitsubishi to try and get, obviously we're not going to just say that to the customer, we wanted to still help them out. Went to Mitsubishi to get the drive shaft. They said £1,000 because they said that the ABS sensor came on the drive shaft. Well, I went out and got a used drive shaft which turned up without the ABS ring on it, so that held up the repair going ahead. So then the guy said, well, let us check out and see what we can do. And they said, actually, no, actually what happened then is, because the drive shaft came without the ABS ring, I was like, sod it, quickly got onto eBay and actually bought the whole rear corner with the hub and everything, thinking that that would come with the ABS ring, which it did. It turned up, but in between, the Moores guys did their own research and found that if you actually buy the aftermarket hub for £100, it comes with the ABS sensor on it. Now, how come no one told us this at any point when we were ringing Mitsubishi? They wanted to sell us the whole drive shaft for £1,000. I do not know. So I bought the drive shaft, the used drive shaft, for about 80 quid. Then I bought this whole rear corner for about 150 quid. And now I bought this hub for £100 to be fitted, and that's going to resolve it. But bless the customer, he's been ever so patient, because we didn't know any better. We were being sent down a total blind alley with the drive shaft side of things, when all we needed was a simple hub. Really frustrating. Luckily, warranty-wise, did negotiate with me and actually give me 250 quid towards the repair. So he should be up and running again soon. Right, so this is another car you haven't seen for a while. You saw it briefly on channel, the Sanyong Corrado, is it? A really nice, low miles, automatic with a small diesel in it. The problem being with this car is that this video might get cancelled because there's someone playing Coldplay in the background. But the problem with this one is it was in third. Sometimes it sort of go in, back, and then into it again. Only very minor problem. You could probably drive it without it being a problem, to be honest. You might not notice if you weren't sort of mechanically minded and drive a lot of cars. But I brought it down to the guys and said, look, let's see what we can do about doing it. Can we change the fluid, change the filter, change the sump pan on the automatic gearbox? Trouble is, you cannot do any of those things other than change the fluid without taking the whole gearbox out. If we take the whole gearbox out, and it turns out that when we put it back together again, it was the gearbox itself that was a problem, then we've wasted all of our time. So what we've done is, like I say, put the fresh fluid in, but then the guys took it for a test drive and the coil spring broke on it. So now we're waiting for a coil spring to go on it so we can take it back out for a test drive, because I don't think it had even enough time for the new fluid to completely flow around the gearbox. But it may be we have to sell it as a known fault, because, like I say, it's only very minor. It drives really nicely, but it'd be about a couple of grand less than normal retail. We think we sorted that Ignis headlight problem now, so that's going to go back in for some MOT, and I should have that back soon. Right, just leaving Moors in the Jag. It took longer than expected because one of my customers that had Dacia off me the other day, a couple of months ago, Dacia Sandero, bunged me a message to let me know, what's your problem? To let me know that they had a little bit of an oil leak from the Dacia, which I said, well look, as I'm down Moors, bring it down anyway. So we got it up on the ramp. It looks like the seal on the oil filter wasn't quite seated properly. Maybe a manufacturing fault or just bad luck. It was dripping down a little bit. Luckily, Moors, because they keep parts in, had a filter on the shelf. So we were literally, well, she stood there, swap it out, top it back up with oil again. I'm going to get her to pop by the unit tomorrow afternoon just to double check the oil level again on it. But yeah, hopefully that, I mean, not great that she's had to come down and have it done at all, but hopefully the fact that we're able to get it done so quickly was ideal. So yeah, finally we're getting to the unit, and it's about 11 o'clock on Monday and we haven't got anything done yet. Right, back at the unit looking for coil springs for the Suzuki Ignis Sport. So the problem is it needs one spring to get for its MOT now. I've got those headlight adjusters sorted. But every time a spring gets delivered, and they've had 3 springs now, Moors, they're the wrong length. Because you can get the 1.5, which isn't the Sport, and obviously you get the 1.3 Ignises. The 1.5 Sport Ignis was almost like a rally homologation car. It's a pretty rare little motor, and they made them specifically, didn't they? So they go racing in the under 16s rally championships. So I think the best thing to do, looking at it, is might as well just upgrade, mightn't I? I can get a full set of sports coil springs for the Ignis for about £115. I think the coil spring, just the one, was going to be around £20. Let's just go and get all the springs done at one. Might as well, they're all the same age, aren't they? Another one's going to break later on anyway. So if we look at getting some sport springs for it, and then actually I might as well put some decent tyres on it. I said I was going to leave the tyres that were on it and let the next buyer decide if they wanted to upgrade, because if you remember, the tyres past MOT were just an advisory for cracking on the sidewalls, but they are quite old semi-slicks. So get some decent rubber on it, get some nice springs on it, and then we've got a nice little track day toy, haven't we? And I can decide whether to keep it or not after I said I was going to get rid of loads of cars. Anyway, see what I can do about getting some springs ordered up so we can finally get that car sorted. So guys, as it stands, I've got little to nothing up for sale. I've got the it's the DS4, isn't it? Citroen. We've had a little bit of interest in that. 2,995. I'm not going to go down any lower than that. That's a bargain price for that car. 2012 car. Yes, it's done 130,000 miles, but it's got good history. Drives really well, and it's got an advisory free MOT on it, so I think it's worth every penny. Still sitting. I've no idea what the problem is. So I took some of your advice. I put the price back up to Auto Trader's recommended. It's still below, but by less. 7,995, but 12-month warranty on it. We'll see if that makes a difference. Some of you seem to think that because I was almost a grand cheaper than Auto Trader, that's the reason it wasn't selling, because people didn't trust it. I personally don't buy into that, but we'll give it a go. So I put it back up 7,995, put a year's warranty on it. Obviously, if I come back down in price, the warranty time period will have to come down. We'll see what happens. Just needs that one person, doesn't it? But this has become the new Dacia. Remember that Dacia back from Alfa Ragazzi days that took ages to sell? That's the new one of those. The S2000's got its advisory free MOT now. It's had its service, but it's not up for sale because I've come back, the hood doesn't work. Typical. Now, one thing I have noticed is that the handbrake light isn't coming on the dashboard. I've looked it up, and people say what happens is the switch in the handbrake fails. And then because the car doesn't know the handbrake's on, it won't let you do the roof. So we need to have a go. It's a bit dark for you guys, I know, at trying to sort that out. Now, the first thing we need to do is prise up the centre console here gently so that we can try and get underneath. I don't know quite how much I've got to remove, but we're going to find out together. And it's just all about doing it gently. Now, what I need to find out is sometimes there's a screw under these little covers down here, so I need to check there isn't one there. And just take your time. You don't want to be snapping any clips anywhere, that's the thing. I can get my hand round and just do it gently. I think I'm probably going to take the gear knob off to raise it completely, but again I want to wait until, so we've just got one sticking point, seems to be about here. Just want to be gentle with that and see, probably need both hands for a second and see if we can get that levered up here. You need plastic tools for this kind of thing. You don't want to be going at it with anything metal and scrape your plastics up, especially when a car's in the condition this is in. Right, we've got it up. Can we see where the little switch is for the handbrake?
I have got a replacement one already. Let me come around from the other side. Yeah, I have got a replacement one already, so to go in if I'm right, but it may be this one just needs cleaning up. Right, so there's the plug. I've got the plug off. Let's get the new switch. Oh bugger, it's different. That one's got a big grey plug on it, and this one's just got that little spade plug on it. Let me. Oh, can I show you or not? Hold on a second. That wiring out of the way. Where was the wiring for that again? Oh, it was. Yeah, my plug's like this. It's a little push on plug. I don't like that big grey one. Right, let's get some contact cleaner on there. Clean the one up on there, because it's literally just a push up and down on spring. Maybe that'll do it. So what I decided to do, in fact, is the new one is the same. It's just got a different connection. So I've just swapped it over to the type of connection I've got in mind, so we'll know for sure. I just because I want a quick clean up. I'm not always going to return it anyway, so it only cost me 20 quid, I think. So I'll give it a clean up, and we'll just plug that in and try that first. Okay, so that's not giving me a reading that the handbrake's on either. Nothing on the dash is telling the handbrake's on, so that's all the plunger does. You push the handbrake down, it breaks the connection. So I think we need to maybe looking at fuses, maybe. Oh, what a game, eh? Well, that's strange. I thought I'd clean up the connections on the old one just in case. And we've got a handbrake light back again. See if the hood will go up now. Oh, blooming dead battery. Batteries, isn't it, guys? Let's see if it will start to go or not. Yes. Oh, what a simple fix. Don't we like that? What a simple fix. And nice and easy to get to as well. So now we just got to deal with the fact we've got a dead battery again, but... Well, it's free. If I hadn't cut the other one up, I could have sent it back and saved myself 20 quid. But I saved myself probably £40 in labour, something like that. So let's get a battery on charge. Then I can photograph it. And finally get it up for sale instead of just having it around as a toy. Although it is tempting to keep it till the better weather comes. So yeah, I do occasionally fix things, guys. So as you can see, we've got another of my random purchases back. Who remembers this car? We got it from a house clearance. Mega low miles XJ. It's only 50,000 miles on this one, isn't it? I think it was a 3-owner car. 3.3 litre V6, so the more economical one. And it was in superb, well, it wasn't in superb condition when we got it, was it? Because it was actually filthy. But we gave it a really good clean. It needs a clean again now because it's been on the back of a transporter. But we gave it a clean up, and the leather inside came up absolutely immaculate. Let's get the keys. Yeah, after we jet washed all the sort of dirt off it, came up super clean because this is the aluminium bodied one, so they don't tend to rot so much. But when we treated all the leather and cleaned all the interiors, you remember it came up absolutely immaculate. I mean, we've got a little bit of sag in the back of the headliners there, but other than that, the interior is immaculate. There's just like zero wear. Gorgeous, gorgeous interior. It had an engine management light on it, if you remember, saying it was a knock sensor. The boys down at Moores put a new knock sensor in, and then it just fired up into life and drove absolutely lovely. So smooth, so smooth. Gear changes like silk. Now the last problem we had were all the bumper corners were scuffed, weren't they? And there was a little ding in the front wing over here as well. Well, the car's been down to Malcolm at MJM Bodyworks, and again, he's knocked it out the park. How he gets the colour matches on cars of this age, I do not know. These things have been sitting outside getting faded and all sorts. And I know where he's doing the repairs, and I still can't see the blends or anything.
He's absolute legend. So he did the corners of the bumpers for me down here on both sides. And he did that ding in that front wing there. Did that there. So just bang on. Now the only thing left, like I said, we did the wing mirror as well. Do you remember the wing mirror was all scratched on? I mean, how has he managed to get that colour just absolutely identical to the factory? I said, he needs a little wipe over. He's got a bit of, but I'll obviously be super careful with that because he's done such a nice job. But he also actually, sorry, I forgot. I paid a bit extra and had his lad machine polish it. So look at the finish in the paintwork now. Look at that. This is the thing I love about this job, guys. I know these don't make business sense as a dealer. We don't get them cheap enough to really make the money out of them. But you just got to love bringing these cars back to life, haven't you? It deserved it, this car. The only thing letting it down now is the chrome on the front bumpers. So this one is all right-ish, but the other one is really scuffed. Now, you could say go and get some, but they are so expensive. I'm looking about £400 to put these two on, and it means the bumper coming off again as well. I just can't afford to put that much more money into it, so I need a solution. Now, I did get some vinyl wrap and thought, chrome wrap, because that can get a really good finish on it, but I don't really fancy putting it on myself and messing it around. So I messaged a local wrap company, but although they said send us pictures, they haven't got back to me at all. The other thing I could try is the spray on chrome, but I think chrome wrap is actually going to be better than spray on chrome. The spray on chrome tends to finish a bit duller. So that's the only thing really annoying. Last thing to be done. I want to do that before I send it down for its MOT. And that's one of the reasons I have to be careful on the bills, because we don't know what the MOT is going to come out at. But having driven it, I must say, it drives so nicely. I'm hoping it doesn't need too much. Was 50,000 miles on it in this condition looking round? I think this is a £5,000 car all day long. 4,995, if not a bit more maybe. Looking at what people are asking for tatty ones with 100k on, I think it's worth that all day long. Make a cracking wedding car for someone, wouldn't it? If you want to start earning a bit of money on the side. I think for the rear headliner, again, financially, you can't be dropping that and doing a new headliner in it. No one's going to pay you the money back. So I think probably the best thing to do is get some of the tan, cream headliner pins and just put them in the back corner there just to tidy up. It's not hanging down and touching your head or anything at the moment. So listen to that. There's a couple of little things I'd like to go and just touch that, sort of that little bit in there. But now the machine polishing job has taken all the light swirl marks out of it. When I've run a bit of waterless wax over this, it's going to be looking immaculate. I got hold of centre caps as well. They're all faded out, so I got hold of new centre caps to tidy that up. That's made a big difference. So I'm sure a lot of people go, why don't you keep it, James? It's because you say that about every car. We'd be keeping the little Smart Barabbas, the S2000, the Jag. We'd be keeping the 2CV van, the MGB. I'd be keeping all of them, wouldn't I? No, it's just can't wait. Oh, and the Suzuki Swift Sport and the Suzuki Ignis Sport. It gets crazy. So the thing about this job, like I've always said, is because I love cars so much and I love doing this with cars, bringing them back to life. The benefit is doing it as a business. I can do them up, enjoy them for a little bit, sell them on. Oh, there's the phone. And just keep doing that. Someone trying to sell me power services as always. Anyway, so what I do now is nip next door and clean up the low mileage i20 automatic we've got, because I want to photograph that and put that up for sale. Over the weekend, loads of messages over the Nissan X-Trail, which has gone down for its MOT now. I want to have that 100% ready because there's so much interest. I want it straight out the door when it's sold. I've got a couple that want to come and see it as soon as it's back from MOT. Loads and loads of messages on it. I had loads of people messaging me want to part exchange cars, and they said to me, what price can you give me? And I said, well, you need to come down with the car. So then they were kind of like, right, okay, well, can you give me a rough price? I said, okay. And I sent them, both the people asking, I sent them these emails, and it was like, okay, can you tell me what the service history is, how many stamps it's got in the book, scuffs on the bumpers and bodywork and dents, how many wheels would need refurbishing, how many of them are sort of curbed, that kind of thing. And what was the other thing? Oh, obviously, does it drive safely? Are there any knocks and bangs on it? Do you have 2 keys? That kind of thing. No response after that from either of them. So I don't know if they thought I was being difficult or not, or what the score was. When I didn't reply in the end, I said, well, look, if you want a rough idea, I said, bung it through We Buy Any Car, and it'll be within about £500 of that. I said, because when you get down to We Buy Any Car, they'll knock you down £500, and they'll take £75 off you for an admin fee. So that'll give you a rough idea. So I haven't had messages back from either of those people, surprisingly. This is the trouble, guys. When you ask people ask for a rough price on their part exchange, it really is a rough price. And the thing is, if they simply ask for a price, it's going to be too low for them, and that's going to be the end of it. They really need to come and look at the car, and I need to look at their car to give them a fair price. Because you've got to bear in mind, the people that are asking me for this price have seen a video of my car, like a full walk around where I do every tyre on the car, show the tread, every alloy anywhere in it, all the panels is anywhere on any of the panels. I tell them, show them the service history book. All of those things, so they know what my car is and what a price is. So if they want a price on their car, they need to give me similar levels of information. Otherwise, it could be drastic. You could drive all the way down and go, well, hang fire, all 4 wheels need refurbishing. You've got 2 bold tyres. There's no stamps in the book, and the price I gave you was for an average car, and yours is well below average. And that's when people get irritated with dealers. So if they're going to travel, I think the best thing to do is get as much information as possible. Then they're going to have the most accurate price. But anyway, so let's give this a quick wipe over. I'm hoping just waterless wax, because it's raining too much outside at the moment. Just gentle clean over with the waterless wax. If you're using just waterless wax, go softly, because you don't want to wipe anything in. Inside, a quick, I think we just need to wet clean the base of the seats. I don't think there's not about any, and then a quick hoover around, and we're good to go. But I don't think you need to see me clean yet another car. That was just a quick roundup for what's going on at the moment. Now, tomorrow, I've got an appointment to go down and see somebody about some part exchanges I've had in. We've got a Kia Sportage and a Skoda Octavia that have come in part exchange. I need to go and check out tomorrow. So we're going to check those out tomorrow morning. I've had a look online. The cars we bought from BCA car auctions, they reckon the delivery date for them is like the 6th of December. So unfortunately, they're not going to be in a vid anytime soon. So, but anyway, what we'll get in the next vid is we'll have a look at these part exchanges together and see what our thoughts are on that, and then play that game we always get to play. Why was it really part exchanged? Anyway, thanks as always for watching. Massive thanks. Please remember to give the video a thumbs up. Giving the video a thumbs up down below is the best metric on YouTube to help your favourite channels. YouTube takes the thumbs up as like the most important thing, and then uses that to recommend the videos to other people and see if they enjoy it as well. So if you could do me a favour and give it a thumbs up down below, that would be fantastic. And if you're not yet subscribed, also please consider that. I'm getting really close to 40,000. That's my next benchmark, and I'd really love to get there before Christmas. So anyway, massive thanks. See you again soon.